Hi, today we are going to learn the naming of chemical compound. So before we start, for your information, the naming of chemical compound, they are named as recommended by International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. In short form, we call it IUPAC. Okay, most of the name we follow this IUPAC system. Okay, so to name the chemical compound, let's start with the ionic compound. So you already learned how to form chemical formula of ionic compound. We know that to form ionic compound, we must have a cation and anion. Okay, so once we have the cation and anion, then only we can name the compound. So for example, let's say we have a sodium ion for cation, and then the anion we have a chloride ion. Okay, when I combine the cation and anion here, sodium ion and chloride ion, the compound name will become sodium chloride. So I just take out the ion. For another example, let's say we have a zinc ion and nitrate ion. So zinc ion will combine with the nitrate ion and we will form a compound named zinc nitrate. So again, we just take out the ion. So now, to name the cation, as we can see here, sodium ion is formed from the element of sodium. And then as for zinc ion, it formed from the element of zinc. Okay, so most of the cation here, they are metal ion. Okay, and as you can see in the periodic table here, so all these are metal ion. So if the metal ion is lithium, then we will form a cation called lithium ion. If the metal ion is if the element is potassium, then we will call them as potassium ion. And if the element is calcium, then it will form a cation called calcium ion. And if the element is aluminium, then it will form a cation that called aluminium ion. Okay, so the metal ion is quite simple. We just follow back the name of the element here. But of course, there are some exceptional where the transition element here for this part 3 to 12, group 3 to group 12, these are so-called as transition element. These transition element, they have more than one type of ion. For example, let's have a copper here. So for copper ion, for copper element, it have two type of ion. It can form two type of cation. So the first one is copper 1 ion. The second one will be copper 2 ion. The Roman number here stand for the charge of the ion. So when I say copper 1 ion, the formula will be Cu plus. If I say copper 2 ion, then the formula will be Cu2 plus. Okay, so if let's say I use copper 1 ion, cation, combine with oxygen, which is the oxide ion. When copper 1 ion combine with oxide ion, then we will have a copper 1 oxide. So remember, the Roman number is very important, because when you put the Roman number here, then we will know this compound, the copper in this compound has 1 charge. Same goes to copper 2 ion here. When it combine with N ion, for example, the N ion that we have, maybe we use the sulfate ion. Okay, copper 2 ion combine with sulfate ion, then the name for the compound will be copper 2 sulfate. Okay, so from here, copper 2 sulfate, I know that the charge for this copper is 2 positive. Same goes to iron. So we have this iron. So for iron, we also have 2 types of ion. One is iron 2 ion. The other one is iron 3 ion. So the iron 2 ions, the 2 here stand for Fe2 plus. Whereas the iron 3 ion here is Fe3 plus. So when we combine, so let's say iron 2 combine with sulfate ion, iron 2 ion combine with sulfate ion, then we have a iron 2 sulfate. And then let's say here iron 3 ion, iron 3 ion combine with let's have a hydroxide ion. So we have iron 3 hydroxide. So when I see iron 2 sulfate, I know the iron here has 2 positive charge. When I see iron 3 ion here, iron 3 hydroxide, from here I know this ion has charge 3 positive. So when I write the formula for this compound here, like copper 1 oxide, the compound will be Cu2O. If you still remember how to form the charge of the how to form the formula of the compound, like this one will be CuSO4, and then like this one FeSO4, and then this one will be Fe hydroxide will be 3. So this is the formula that we will see. And of course there are also cation which has only which is combined by more than one element. For example NH4 positive, and this we call them as ammonium ion. So in your syllabus, you will only learn this for the naming of the compound, which is the ammonium ion. And then let's see the cation. So let's see the anion. So for anion, just now we're saying the chloride ion actually is the chlorine, which form chloride ion. Most of the anion, they are non-metal. We can see here chlorine. Here, this one from the periodic table here, the chlorine, when it form ion, it becomes chloride ion. And then when it like fluorine, when it form ion, it becomes fluoride ion. So you can see here, all of them has changed to the ending of IDE instead of INE. Same goes to oxygen. It will form oxide ion. So it has formed the IDE at the end there. There are also some other ions, for example, sulfate ion, just now that we already used. Sulfate ion, when we see sulfate ion, the formula for sulfate ion is SO4 2 negative. So when I see ATE, the ending is ATE here, it means that it has more oxygen behind in the formula. Sulfate ion, SO4. So we have 4 oxygen here. And then as for carbonate ion, we have 3 oxygen there. Also ending with ATE. And then you have a nitrate ion. So this one, NO3 negative. So this ending of ATE here, it shows that it has many oxygen here. And there are also other combined of like hydroxide ion. For hydroxide ion, we can see that this is the combination of hydrogen and oxygen. So that's why you have a OH negative here. Hydroxide ion. So these are some of the naming of anion and cation. So when we name the compound, we just combine the ions, but we take out the ion. We combine the anion and cation, use the name, but we take out the ion, like just now, as I said just now. Sodium ion, chloride ion, becomes sodium chloride. So you just take out the ion. Okay. So of course there are also some anion which have Roman number behind. For example, manganate 7 ion. So when I see the manganate 7 ion, so again it's ending with ATE, so we can see that it have MnO4, and the 7 here, from the 7 here, I know the charge of the manganate 7 is only 1 negative. Or the other example, we can also see like dichromate 6 ion. Dichromate 6 ion, we have Cr2O7, because the Roman number is 6, So the charge for this will be 2 negative. So the Roman number here will give you some help to help you know whether the ion is charged 1 negative, 2 negative, or 3 negative, and so on. Okay, so this is for ionic compound. For molecular compound, other molecular compound, which is quite simple, where we use the Greek prefix like mono. For example, you have CO. This one is for molecular compound. So CO, here is only one O. This one is C, so we put it carbon monoxide. So when I use the word mono here, the mono stand for 1. So let's have another example. So when I have CO2, then the name will be carbon dioxide, because it has 2 oxygen, so dioxide. Another example, you can see the SO3. So this one, the first one, S stand for sulfur. So we have sulfur, 3 oxygen become trioxide. So you have trioxide here. Okay, so as you can see here, mono stand for 1, di stand for 2, tri stand for 3. So from here, we can see how we name the molecular compound here. So if it's 4, then we will have tetra. If it is 5, then we have pen. If it is 6, then we have hex. 7, hep. So these are some of the ways to name the compound. So that's all for today. Thank you.